answer on the spot about that very confusing judgment in MacRobertsons' case on Saturday. Was it only Saturday when we were put together? So I just wanted to have a quick look at that for you. So what I've done, I've thrown up these 4 extra slides into the topic 2 area today. And really I've just put a bit more of a summary of the decision just to make it a little bit more useful to you. So basically, Chief Barwick's judgment, I don't think there's anything different that I want to say about that, but I've expanded it out a little bit here. He basically ended up with the argument, I am going to have to get rid of that chat because it's going to just annoy us all. Sorry. Oh, that's, can't do that because it's this one. There we go. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to notice if you really want to yell out, you people online, for a moment. I'll just check back again. So basically, he ended up saying, okay, the ticket was not the agreement. So so it didn't form an offer. The contract was not made with the ticket, so stamp duty didn't apply. And it's a pretty sort of straightforward analysis. The bit that's kind of interesting there is this language. The situation is of the payment of a reward for an act performed at the request with no prior, well, you have to say antecedent as opposed to prior, promised by the person performing the act to do so. So it's almost like he's thinking about the particular arrangement as like a unilateral contract. So stacking up, for want of a better term, those obligations. But it can't be a unilateral contract because at the time that the contract is made, which under his analysis seems to be at the point of time where the airline accepts the passenger walking onto the flight, there are still obligations that need to be fulfilled. And if we say, well, actually it's like a unilateral contract in the sense that the passenger has already paid and all they have to do is show up, well, it's not, because at any point in time that offer could be withdrawn. So he's got this quite complex understanding, and it's absolutely not clear as to whether or not this ticket ultimately forms a contract. Justice Stephen's analysis, which is the one that was giving me grief because of the way that I'd written my slide, he was saying, now I've read the judgment again, he is saying, yes, the ticket is the offer. So he says that the doctrine of offer and acceptance encounters difficulties when it's applied to everyday contractual situations. He talks about how it's easy enough in the conveyance of a product or a piece of land to understand the order that things happen in. But this is a really complex arrangement. And in fact, the clause that were the only writing on the back of the ticket, actually it might not have been the only writing, but the vast amount of writing on the ticket was effectively ways that the airline didn't have to deliver. So he was saying, at best, the ticket is an offer that can be accepted by showing up on the day and can be rejected by basically asking for your money back. But the facts that we had weren't somebody asking for their money back. It was facts with a commissioner trying to extract duty. Oh, sorry, I did have something there to do with Jacobs. So he's actually even more confusing at the end of the day, and I don't think you should spend too much time on it. But he said, as I mentioned the other day, he sits between both Chief Justice Barwick and Stephen. So we've got 3 different judges, ultimately with 3 different answers. And then if you follow the line of cases, you'll see that in similar circumstances, we've got 4 or 5 other judgments with tickets and carriage where it's really not clear where the contract is made. The point of including this case is partly to show you that you're never going to be absolutely certain as to what the answer is, so it's okay, but also to demonstrate to you that, because the judgment, particularly Barwick's judgment, even though ultimately comes up with this very long-winded, confusing answer, but his judgment is the one that sets out some of the history for the offer and acceptance, and that's why it's useful to you. Have I made it better or worse? Or would it be better if I just moved on either way? So, there we go.